Okay, let's keep reading Jane Doe and the Cradle of All Worlds. We're up to the chapter called The Great Adventurer. You're from Blue Haven? Hickory Bloody Doors doesn't answer me, so I turn to Violet instead. He's from Blue Haven. Our Blue Haven. No, the other Blue Haven, she says. Of course our Blue Haven. I sputter a few buts and hows before settling on a why. Why didn't he tell us? And back to Hickory. Why didn't you tell me? He's black-eyed and bruised, tied up between two man-sized statues in front of a locked door, knees planted in the sand, arms strung up and stretched out either side of him. He hocks a golly and spits. Violet clenches her fists, restrains herself. He was one of the first settlers of Blue Haven, part of the first group anyway. Says he can't remember the dying lands, and I believe him. He would have been a small boy when the pilgrimage happened. My mind flicks back to that classroom cupboard, my secret history lesson way back when. They were fleeing some sort of sickness, right? A plague. The unspeakable plague, Violet says. Not much is known about the sickness itself. Early chronicle entries are light on details, but we do know it killed millions of people. Cities and villages fell. Our world was wiped clean. Those who survived sought refuge across the ocean. Hickory's people found Blue Haven after a long, dangerous voyage. It was deserted. No buildings, no outset square, no sacred stairs, but they knew people had been there before. They found cave paintings in the tunnels, drawings of a lone door standing atop the cliffs. The gateway? Violet nods. They scaled the cliffs, found the door, touched the stone, but nothing happened. Remains of an ancient temple, they thought. Gradually it was forgotten. They set about building the town, carving terraces, cultivating fields, living their new lives. And this guy? I ask, nodding at Hickory. Well, the settlers may have been vague about the dying lands, but they were clear on the date the gateway first opened. According to the chronicles, it happened 16 years after their arrival, which means he grew up on Blue Haven. You would have been what, Hickory? 18, 19? Hickory doesn't respond. Anyway, one day he wandered up the hill and never returned. A search party was sent out. A woman, Arundhati Riggs, found his tracks and entered the manor too, journeyed to the other worlds and returned. Everybody marvelled at her tale. Over the years, more and more people were granted entry through the gateway. They built the sacred stairs, the temple around the gateway, the manor as we see it from Blue Haven today. And they realised the honour that had been bestowed upon Hickory. He was the first of thousands. The fact that he never returned only fed the legend. She kneels down in front of Hickory. I always wondered what became of you, she says. Even wrote a story about you once in school. And now I know. Hickory Dawes, the great adventurer, liar, thief, traitor. Hickory's eyes twitch. Got me all figured out, haven't you, little girl? Don't forget, this little girl beat you in a fair fight. Hickory leans in towards Violet, straining against the ropes. You can call it an honour being trapped in here, feeling every person you've ever known slip away from you, forgetting faces, voices, simple things. Like the feel of the sun on your skin. He shakes his head. That isn't an honour. He looks up at me now. That is a curse. You still could have told me, I say. You could have helped me. After we found my dad, I could have taken you back. To what? An island I don't recognise, full of strangers? That isn't what I want. Then what do you want, Hickory? Huh? What exactly has been going through your head since you found out I had the key? Silence now. Surprise, surprise. Hickory Dawes doesn't feel like sharing. Violet stands again. His plan, if you can call it that, was to hand you and the key over to Roth, somehow fool Roth into showing him the entrance to the cradle, then steal back the key and claim the cradle for himself. Good plan, Hickory says, up to a point. Violet ignores him. John's story on the train changed everything, though. See, Roth let all the bounty hunters believe there was only one key and that he knew the location of the cradle already. I guess he figured it'd be easier to keep tabs on people that way. Didn't want anyone else getting their hands on both keys and beating him to the prize. When John said there were 3 keys, Hickory realised he'd been duped. That's why he didn't turn you in after he picked the bounty hunter's pocket. He knew he didn't need Roth anymore. You want the cradle for yourself? I ask Hickory. Why? That, Violet says, he hasn't told me. But you heard him. It's obvious. He hates this place. He wants to unleash the Cradle Sea and destroy the manor. He's no better than Roth. Better looking than Roth, Hickory says. Don't smell half as bad either. I want to punch him, square in the nose. You heard what my dad said, idiot. The manor binds other worlds together. If it goes, they all go. You'd really kill every living thing in existence because of your beef with this place? You're sick in the head. Maybe, Hickory says, maybe not. He smiles. Now, are you two going to get to the point anytime soon, or are you going to stand around and chat while Roth makes a more lifelike mask out of your pa's handsome mug? I step in to kick Hickory, but Violet pulls me back. I figure she's going to give me the old he's not worth it line, but all she says is, I'll handle this. Quick as lightning, she grabs him by the hair with one hand and snatches the knife from her boot with the other, holds the blade to his throat. This pointy enough for you? I'd point to his throat. This pointy enough for you? Hickory coughs, grunts and grimaces. Then he cracks up. What's so funny, I ask? You two acting all tough and in control when we all know you need me. Lost little ducklings want a guide to the river. He nods down the passage. Voices travel far in here. Sorry to hear Blue Haven's gone to the hell, ladies, but hey, what can you do? This should be easy then, I say. Do you know where we are? Hickory flicks his head at the statues either side of him. There are small symbols carved into their foreheads. Violet asks what they are. I shake my head in disbelief. Directions, I say. Signposts. We're way back near your hideout, Hickory. Different hideout, old one. Carved these symbols a long time ago. And you know a path to the river from here. Good path, safe-ish path. He tilts his head my way. Think you're right, by the way. Manor wants us to get to the cradle before Roth. Us, he says, bold as goddamn brass. Don't you suppose you've asked yourself why, though? The things you saw in your dreams, why the manor showed them to you. More importantly, why you caused the quakes. Hickory, Violet tightens her grip on the knife. Don't. His face lightens up. Ah, so you've thought about it. Waiting for the right moment to tell her, huh? Didn't want to spring it on her till she got her full strength back. Hickory tuts at me. Always the slow one, Jane. Been so focused on Violet's past and mine, yet haven't even given a second thought to your own. Violet pulls on her hair again, pulls on his hair again, tilting his head right back. He swallows hard, bobbing his Adam's apple up and down over the blade. It's okay, Violet, I say. Let him talk. She backs off and lowers the knife. Hickory stretches out his neck, sighs dramatically. You and your folks went inside the cradle, swam in its waters without dying. Seems it gave you some sort of connection to the place. Maybe you swallowed some of the Cradle Sea. Maybe you made it all the way to the fountain stone and cut yourself on the rock. Maybe Mummy and Daddy let you hold the third key and you tried to swallow the thing. I don't know. Point is, your blood carves up stone. He lets the thoughts stink up the room for a moment, just like one of the makers. No, the name slips from my lips before I can stop it. Poe. Hickory rolls his eyes. Not Poe, idiot. Aris, shaper of stone. Although, who's to say there isn't a bit of Poe in you as well? Maybe a bit of Nabucco too. Who knows what you're capable of? I bet that's why Roth was having trouble getting inside your head on the train. Never seen that happen before. Violet shuffles her feet. I think he's right, Jane. Considering everything John said, I mean, if Winifred had known you'd gone to the cradle, if she'd known about the 3 keys, I'm sure she would have made the connection years ago. But, well, she didn't. I run a finger over my bandaged hand. Could it really be possible? Is that what Dad was trying to say before Roth got to the train? Yes, Jane, you were born in the manor, but the Cradle sea infected you. A wave slammed us into the fountain stone, and some of the Maker's powers stuck to you. People on Blue Haven always treated me like I had some sort of disease. And maybe they were right. Maybe there is something inside me, something abnormal. Jane Doe, cursed one through and through. Anyway, Hickory says, something to mull over on the way. Been a while since I've seen those symbols, but I remember 'em well enough. He tips his head to the door behind him. You should see what's back there. Very pretty. Violet's gaze lingers on me. She's waiting to see if I'm going to freak out about the whole connection to the manor thing. I nod and I'm okay, but the truth is, I'm not sure how I feel. Sick, scared, confused. All I know for sure is I need to get moving again. How far away is it? The river. Not far. Getting there's the easy part. River starts at a weakened gateway, branches off into 1,000 channels, many of them deadly. You saw it in your dream, Jane. Rapids, whirlpools. Bet you didn't see the prison camps, though. More than a few. Leatherheads ferrying prisoners and supplies. Very tricky, but I can help you. Most importantly, I can get us a boat. I swallowed hard. Far as I'm concerned, the boat seals the deal. How can we trust you? Violet asks Hickory, after everything you've done. You trust that I want to get to the Cradle as much as you. Hickory hauls himself up, grunting against the ropes, standing tall, that I want to beat Roth even more. Worst case scenarios swarm, tricks, traps and backstabbings. I'm beginning to think I'll never be free of this guy, the great adventurer, the great pain in my ass. So, he says with a smile, who wants to untie me?